Good afternoon. Welcome to Ghost Mostly Media's afternoon chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. I need to start out the day by apologizing for what went on yesterday. I lost my internet temporarily, and then when I restarted the stream after after failed, I couldn't connect to the original stream, and then I basically got frustrated with myself and I gave up. My bad. Um, I need to calm down and just let things go. Eventually, YouTube will put me where I'm supposed to be. So I went back to the original category of people and blogs. And I'm just going to calm down and stay there for at least another week and see how things go. I'm attempting to fix things that aren't broken, I guess, which is my bad. I need to just change what I see that needs to be changed and let it go the way it's supposed to. My audience will find me eventually, or I'll find them eventually. But in the meantime, I got to just present the product that I'm trying to present, which is an open chat room, 2 hours a day, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I'm calling the show Afternoon Chat, but that's because it's just me. Once you guys get in here, you guys can determine what we should name the show if you think it should change. We can adjust the hours if you think those need to change. Basically, I'm not trying to be the star here. I'm trying to make the live chat the star. It's kind of hard to do with no one in the live chat yet, but it is what it is. And I just need to be patient and let things go. Basically, I'm in Southwest Michigan, and we can talk about anything that the chat people want to talk about. I'm knowledgeable in some areas, but I don't have all the knowledge, and there's a lot of things that I don't know anything about, and I'm looking forward to learning about them. I'm in Southwest Michigan, but spent most of my adult life living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I worked in the casino table games industry, 33-year career. Now I'm semi-retired and relocated back to Michigan, where I was originally born. I still have 2 sons and a granddaughter that live in Las Vegas. And I'm proud to say that they're not in the casino industry. I think that's a real plus because I don't recommend the casino industry. It's not what it could be. Their labor unions are weak. They don't take care of their employees like they used to. My personal opinion, and I'm not, I say this disclaimer, I am not pro-crime, but I thought the casinos were better for both the customer and the employee when the mob owned them and ran them. Personal opinion. I don't think all the corporations in America are doing America a solid. I think the corporations are run by greed, and I think they consider their customer base and their employee base to be replaceable. I don't think that they value either as they should. Personal opinion. But the reason I'm creating the chat room is decades ago, I used to get on my computer and join a chat room. And I thought it was fun. And I look out there now and I don't see any chat rooms that are just chat rooms. I see, like a sports show wants to host a sports chat, or an entertainment show wants to host an entertainment chat. It's too structured. There's too many rules. I think we need a chat room that the people in the chat determine what their topic of conversation is, and it could change from day to day and should change from day to day. I'm not trying to structure what the show's about. I think that it should be up to you guys. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be the star of the show. I pretty much want to be invisible. Just pretend like I'm not here. The name Ghost mostly came up years ago. I used to write music, lyrics for a band, and I didn't want them using my name, and I didn't want them to owe me credits for anything. So I was a ghostwriter. And coming into this project, I just took the same alias and pushed it forward through media on the end of it and created an LLC. The bottom line on this chat room is we can talk about anything you want to talk about. My personal opinions don't really matter. I'm just one guy sitting on one end of my couch. Okay. I'm not some kind of guru or anything like that. I'm just a guy just sitting here. You'll find me to be just as flawed as any other human being. I'm just normal in my opinion. I have had a rather unique life compared to most. But once again, that's just my opinion. I've never hosted a chat room. I've never been on TV or put myself out there on the internet before. So everything's new to me. I'm kind of feeling my way through this. This first week that I've been doing this, I consider this to be a rehearsal week. And I'm just kind of feeling my way through as I see problems or find problems. I've been trying to correct them. Yesterday, I lost patience with myself. I wasn't presenting the product that I want to present. And so I quit. I ended the stream early and basically gave up for the day. I went for a nice walk, thought things out, and realized I made a mistake. Uh, that's the easiest terms to put it in is I screwed up. So in the future, I hope to present to you a 2 hour live stream that you can get in and chat or just watch or listen or whatever you want to do with it. I don't want to put my finger on the scale, and I don't want to pressure you guys to talk about politics or sports or any topic. I want it to go the other way. I would like the chat room to pressure me to talk about other things that might not be on my mind that day. I respect people. It's my personal belief that in America, the good guys outnumber the bad guys by at least 10 to 1. For my proof of that, I look at the stats, and the stats say that the population in America is never been more than 7% criminal, which means that there are 93% of us that are not criminal. Thus, I say the good guys outnumber the bad guys almost 10 to 1. And out of those 7% of the bad guys, I know for a fact that there's a couple of million bad guys that are sitting in prison. And, if you do the math on it, I think the actual police in this country, well, law enforcement in general, I think they outnumber the bad guys. There's not that many bad guys. If you want to see what I'm talking about, walk out your front door and point to a bad guy. You can't find one. But if you watch any of our news that we have in this country, they're all portraying that America is crime-ridden. And if you listen to the politicians, half of them are trying to tell you that we need the military on the streets with automatic weapons. And it's just not true. There's not that many bad guys. And when I look at the news and I see a bad story, like there's been a mass shooting or something, I understand that, there were 339 million people in this country yesterday that did not shoot anybody. They did not commit a heinous crime. And nobody is talking about all the good guys and all the good deeds and all the good things that the people in America are doing. As far as I'm concerned, the media in this country has changed. It's not Walter Cronkite anymore. It's not Dan Rather anymore. And it's just not. They're leaving out as much news and not telling you about a bunch of news. And that's just as criminal as them trying to brainwash you and make you think that there's crime on every street in America. It's just not that way. Now, this is my personal opinion. These are my beliefs. I look forward to people being in the chat room and telling me their beliefs. And hopefully, even if we can disagree, we can get along. If you need a day shift whipping boy, I'm right here. Please feel free to support the channel. I set up a Patreon page, but I don't think I've got it active yet. I don't think I've done anything with the YouTube membership. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. That's not, I'm not a hustler. I'm not trying to find a sponsor and get rich. That stuff doesn't interest me at all. In order to run this channel and host this chat room, it's not costing me that much. I got a YouTube membership and I got internet access. That's it. As you can see, I've spent millions of dollars on the set. I'm sitting on my couch in the living room. So when you do decide to come in and chat, look at it like I've invited you into my living room, and please, conduct yourself accordingly. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I have friends that are on both sides of the aisle, and I don't care what you are. I don't care, what race you are. I don't care what religion you are. Everybody is welcome in here as far as I'm concerned. I can get along and deal with everybody. One of the hardest things for me when it comes to dealing with people is that I don't get out as much as I used to. I don't meet as many people as I used to when I was working in Vegas. When I was working in Vegas, I was probably meeting 100 people a week. And I liked it. It was fun. One day you go in and you talk to people from Germany. The next day you come in and you talk to people from Texas. I liked it. So, that's why I created the chat in the Ghost Mostly Media. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the media company, but I was hoping that the chat would help me decide what to do with it. If you guys want me to create or do fishing videos, I suppose I'm going to end up going out and doing fishing videos. But I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what kind of content you want. Maybe you guys want individual structured chat rooms. Originally, when I was getting into this, I was thinking that I could do a chat solely on ghostwriting music lyrics or song lyrics for public domain. I say public domain is because I didn't like selling them. When you sell them as a ghostwriter, you don't have any control. So I've never turned on the radio and been able to listen to lyrics that I wrote. If they don't go and record them, if they don't release them, you never hear them. So that's why I was thinking, write the lyrics for public domain. If you write them for public domain and you allow everybody to use them, maybe somebody would put one in a song that gets played on the radio and you could hear your own lyrics. That was my line of thinking. But the more I got into this and the more I looked around at the chat, and I watch a few shows on YouTube that have live chat. I don't normally comment. Normally, I just look for the entertainment value of reading the live chat. But as I got into creating the channel and everything, I decided I need to be more mainstream and allow more people in. And then I can determine what individual directions I want to move Ghost Mostly Media into. For right now, I'm just going to do the live chat. I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to do this for the next 3 years. that would give me ample opportunity to create a community of people that like to chat. But after the 3 years, I'll evaluate: do I want to continue with this, or should I stop this and move on to something else? The main thing on my mind this week is the NFL, plain and simple. I'm a football fan, specifically a Lions fan. And I've been watching the roster moves and the acquisitions that they've made. And I'm excited about the start of the regular season. So when I get up in the morning and I turn on the YouTube, get my coffee, the first thing I look for is, well, the Tigers, did they play last night? Is there a game recap I can see? Right? Because I'm also a Tigers fan. Just more of a Lions fan than a Tigers fan. But then I go in and I look at sports in general, and then I look for Lions news and information. I'm not in fantasy football. I did that back in the late 80s. Now that it's mainstream, fantasy football doesn't interest me that much. It's a lot of work with 32 teams. There's a lot of players to track, and I get more enjoyment just out of tracking the Lions. So I look at the stats on the Lions. I look at, the Lions schedule. I look at who's hurt and, that kind of stuff. I don't bet anymore on sports. I did that when I was younger and lived in Vegas, and they had the sports books. It was all legal, I lost a lot of money betting on the Lions back in the day, let me tell you. A lot of money. But I had fun. I used to bet the Lions back when they had Barry Sanders and, before him, Billy Sims. I loved those guys. I thought they were great. Now, there's a couple of Lions that I think are awesome. Number one is Jared Goff. When I see him move in the pocket and the pressure's coming and he's looking down the field, he reminds me of Joe Montana. All those years that I was betting on the Lions, Joe Montana was connecting with Jerry Rice and winning Super Bowls. You know what I mean? But I look at that and I say, okay, Jared Goff he's there. He's in his prime right now. I think he's talented. Let's just leave it at that. On the defensive side of the ball, excuse me, there's a couple of guys I like. Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line, Brian Branch at safety. It's just very entertaining for me to watch these guys. Their physical abilities and their, I don't know what you can call it, I guess, presence on the field. It's electric to me. Every time I see Aiden Hutchinson lining up, I'm expecting him to get a sack. And every time I see Brian Branch go out in coverage, I'm expecting him to get an interception. And literally every time. If he wasn't looking for the ball, I don't think he'd be running next to the guy. I don't think he'd be playing it the same. He's looking for the ball. He wants to get that pass intercepted, and then he wants to go and score with it. Same with Kirby Joseph, his counterpart. But I watch the Lions and I root for them. And my prediction for this year is absurd. I am expecting them to go 17-0. Until I see different, that's what I'm going to believe. Every year Dan Campbell's been head coach, their record has improved. Their record was 15-2 last season. They're going to improve on that as far as I'm concerned. So that means they could either be 17-0 or 16-1. I'm rooting for the 17-0. I expect them to be number one seed in the NFC. I expect them to destroy their divisional opponents. I think they'll sweep the division. That's what they did last year. This year, I think their defense is vastly improved and vastly not injured compared to last year. So I expect that every time the defense is on the field, I'm expecting a 3-and-out by the opposition. So I see the offense for the Lions getting more possessions. So I think they're going to score higher. So against division opponents, I'm expecting them to put up a 50-burger. And I have very little respect for the other three teams in the division. Chicago is unproven. And by last year's standards, they're a total failure, won't make the playoffs. Green Bay, I dislike the quarterback. I think he throws up jump balls. Jordan Love is not the answer, if you ask me. And Minnesota's got J.J. McCarthy. He came from Michigan, and I love the kid, okay? But on your rookie season in the NFL, how good can you be? How many rookie NFL quarterbacks win the Super Bowl? Oh, none? Yeah. So I don't see it happening. I see rookies making mistakes, and I see the Lions in position to capitalize on all the mistakes. I think that they'll probably pick off their divisional opponents quite a bit. I expect a number of interceptions, a number of forced fumbles, and even some special teams action. Lions have a good team. I think we saw that when they made the roster cut down. They let a lot of good players go on waivers because good isn't good enough to be on the Lions. You've got to be great to make that team. The bar is set pretty high. If you're not fast enough, you ain't making a team. If you're not tough enough, you ain't making a team. If you're not skilled enough, you're not going to make the team. I was upset about Skipper getting released, but now that he's back on the practice squad, I'm happy. That means, I don't know if you know how the practice squad works or not, but if anybody claims him off of the Lions practice squad, they've got to put him on their 53-man roster. Okay. They can't just take him and put him on their practice squad. So the only place he can go from there is up. I expect him to be playing at some point this year with the Lions. He's just a fan favorite, The guy's cool. He's big. He's strong. And he really, really tries. I like that. I was hoping he'd get a touchdown catch this year. They can make him tackle eligible. But, we'll see what goes on. But I'm excited. As far as Micah Parsons getting traded to Green Bay, so what? Means nothing. Yeah. The Lions are a scoring machine. Their starting wide receivers are extremely talented. Their starting running backs are extremely talented. Their offensive line, defensive line, they're extremely talented. I think they have one of the best linebacking corps in the league. And their secondary, I think, is top notch. I was telling, I was chatting last night, watching Mike Kimber had a live stream, and I was in there, and I told him, I said, I expect that every time Detroit's defense is on the field, I expect them to be a scoring threat. They are not there just to knock the ball down. That's not good enough for these guys. They want to pick it up and run it into the end zone themselves, which is really cool. I'm expecting them to have the number one offense in the league, and I expect the defense to be in the top 2 of the league. My personal opinions. I don't know squat about football, all right? I'm not, don't bet your money on me. Trust me. I'm not betting any money. I'm just sitting on my couch being a fan. I like the fact that the Lions' schedule is harder this year. I want it to be the hardest in the league because that means that they had the previous season, they were a top-notch team. And I want them to be in it every year. I want them in the playoffs every year. I want them in contention every year. It's just more entertaining for the fans. And the Lions have a great fan base. I said it yesterday. Every stadium they play in, you're going to hear them chanting, Jared Goff, Jared Goff. And I don't care where they're playing. You're going to hear it every game as the Lions fans travel well. They follow them and they support our team. And I think that's great. The Tigers, I'm hoping they get into the playoffs. They should. They seem to have it sewed up, but you never know. So much baseball depends on the pitching, and you never have the same pitcher every day. So that Skubal is the best in the league as far as I'm concerned. Every time he gets a start, I'm figuring, well, okay, he gets another dozen strikeouts. The guy's just overpowering. When I see him play, I trust that he's going to strike the batters out. It's very entertaining to me. I follow basketball once in a while, but I generally don't really watch until the playoffs. I'm not as sports oriented as I was as a young man. Nowadays, I like to watch movies. I go to the theater, a few times a year. I don't go every week. Well, all things in life are cool in moderation, but if you go to extremes on them, it gets out of control and you kind of lose your place, Nowadays, most of my activities, I like to go out to restaurants. I got one in particular close to home that I hang out at. Yeah, I'll plug them for you. It's Butler's Breakfast and Lunch. Yeah, they got good food. They got good service. Owner's a friend. You know, I I like it there. We do a family breakfast on Tuesday mornings. There's generally 8 or 9 of us there. You know, it's nice. When my kids come to town, I try to take them down there. You know, show them off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to people being in the chat and talking about things that I wasn't expecting to talk about. You know, that would be fun for me. When I was in Vegas and meeting 100 people a week, there was no telling what you talked about every day. It always changed. It's never a rerun when you're meeting people. It's always different. I think that's why I like it. If you were doing the exact same thing all day every day, that would get old to me. And it's like when I go outside and I'm watching wild animals or whatever, you know, the nature show. It's never a rerun. You know, if you can't take pleasure out of that, you know, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, yesterday we had some horrible weather. It rained in the middle of the afternoon, and my internet went off. It came right back on, but you know, I had lost the live stream, and that pissed me off. You know, I try not to get angry, but you know, sometimes I like to have my own way. I like it when things go my way. You know, that's just personal opinion. I think everybody likes it when they get their way. You know, I want to present a 2 hour show in one segment. Whether you guys get in here or not, I want the 2 hours to be there. And then you know, if there are a bunch of people in here and the chat gets going crazy, I might have to put it in slow mode or whatever. And I might have to spend some of my time moderating the channel because I'm not going to let a bunch of bots get in here and spam us and all that crap. Hopefully, the channel will get big enough that I got to look for other people to help with the moderating of the channel. I would like that. The shows I watch that have chat, um, they're all on YouTube. I really don't watch anything but YouTube anymore. I got fed up with the commercials. And that's why I'm not going to have any commercials on this live stream. I'm not going to sell you nothing. I'm not coming out with a line of merch. You know, it doesn't interest me in the least. Right? I just want people to come in and communicate with each other and have a good time and get value out of it. I decided on 2 hours a day. I think that gives us enough time to have a decent conversation. I'm doing the Monday through Friday thing because I don't want it to interrupt my football season that's about to take place. That's why I set the hours the way I did. Is I want to see my football games, and if the show ends at 5, it doesn't interrupt any of my football games, except maybe on the holiday weekend. You know, what do you call Christmas, Thanksgiving type stuff, you know. But, you know, I can always, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know. if we've got people in the chat, I'll probably let the chat decide what they want to do. As far as rules, I don't want to be cracking a whip on anybody or anything like that. So I say just follow YouTube's terms of service. Don't get me in any trouble with YouTube. I get into enough trouble on my own. So, as long as we stay within their guidelines, we're golden. Talk about anything you want. I do, I would prefer to keep it, clean, like G rated, but if it ends up being an R rated chat, it's an R rated chat. There ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to boot people out just because they're saying mean things to me or something like that. I got a very thick skin and I could care less. And you can say all the mean things you want to me. You ain't going to hurt my feelings. As far as I'm concerned, I'm eye candy. Then nobody's going to destroy my self-esteem. It's not going to happen. My training in Vegas, dealing, like a blackjack dealer, somebody's pissed off at you every day, right? The customer's mad because you're taking their money and they've been drinking. Or the house is mad because you're giving away the boss's bonus. So, if the boss is pissing and moaning and kicking the podium, you just deal your cards and take and pay the losers. Same thing when it's the other side. When the players are losing and they're complaining at you, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? I tell people, it's not my fault. I don't make any decisions. And I plan on running this chat room the same way. I decided to get it up and running, but once it's up and running, the chat's going to decide things. Because I don't care. I have no opinion. I just want to get on and have people to talk to. Meet new people, I like to be friendly. My honest belief is be friendly to everybody. You're going to like the end result. Because when you're friendly to people, guess what? They're friendly back. I honestly believe that. I'm trying to be invisible on this channel. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to have you guys print up T-shirts with my picture on them. That's for damn sure. I am trying not to embarrass my children. I think that's the adult thing to do. But yeah, some of my opinions are going to make sense to you and some of them aren't. Everybody has a different perspective. All kinds of people have different opinions, That's what makes us all unique. And I think that's the flavor of society. You know what I mean? Is you take a bunch of unique people, and in our case, 340 million of us, and you lump it all together. I know that every American in this country is my friend. I don't care how divisive the politics get. I don't care how divisive or selfish anyone gets. I consider every one of you to be my friend until you prove differently. I had a buddy used to come up and tell me, all people are idiots until they prove otherwise. Well, I don't believe that. I believe all people are good people until they prove otherwise. That's my belief. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was a dealer too. He might not have been the in the proper line of work as far as dealing with the public. You know, in my years in Vegas, I saw everything, and I saw some people that should not be out on the front line dealing with the public. They didn't know how to communicate with people. They took things too personal. Somebody throws their cards down on the table after losing a hand and losing a bunch of money. Uh, they're not trying to attack the dealer. They're just disgusted. We've all been disgusted at certain points. You know what I mean? This is just normal human behavior. Anything that humans do is normal human behavior. It's not abnormal. Abnormal human behavior has a degree of deviancy. You know, abnormal means not everybody would do this, right? That's my opinion, anyways. So for the next 3 years, I'm just going to sit here, and if nobody gets in the room, I'm just going to sit here and talk to my computer. I'm figuring within the first couple of weeks, YouTube will figure out where I belong in their algorithm, and they'll place me where the audience is. You know, um, I figure they know what they're doing better than I do. But if people come into the chat room and they advise me to do things differently, I'll change them. I'm not all set on this. It's like I was thinking I might even put on a shirt that had some color once in a while, change my appearance. Recently, I've been thinking about doing a ponytail. I don't know, just to try to look a little bit more clean cut. I had a haircut like 10 years ago. I'm probably not going to get another one. What's the point? It doesn't bother me. You know, I look back to when I was like 13, 14. I had long hair. Of course, that was back in the 60s. I hate to tell you that. Yeah, that's how old I am. I'm an old geezer. Yeah. But I come up with the idea of creating a channel on my birthday this year. And then I started this channel on my father's birthday this year. And like I said earlier, I'm going to run it for about 3 years. We'll see how it goes. It's my understanding that if you want to chat, I mean, you got to use like your phone or a laptop or a tablet, something like that. You can watch it on TV and see me in big screen with high definition, which I apologize. The picture ain't going to get any prettier. But, if you want to chat, you're going to have to use your phone or another device. I guess some of the newer TVs, some of the newer smart TVs, you might be able to chat on if you've got it hooked up just right. But if you're watching this on TV and you're not seeing the chat scrolling next to me, then you need to enable the chat. Just turn it on. And then you should be able to read what's going on. If we're having a discussion, I'll read as much of the chat out loud that I can, That's why I'm wearing the glasses, so I can read the chat as it scrolls by. But, you're not required to participate. You can just watch or just listen if you want to. I'm not going to go to any of the other platforms. I have no interest in them. All I see on them is variations in censorship. And I actually think some of these platforms are downright evil. But that's personal opinion. So what I was thinking of doing is I set up the Patreon page at like $5 a month. If people want to donate and support the channel, that's up to them, But like I said, I'm not hustling anybody. But my youngest son was telling me that I should be on other platforms. And what I was thinking is maybe I could create a higher platform on the Patreon that say like $10 a month and give you like you as the supporting member, give you a 30-day license to clip or repost on other platforms. You might want to take something that we're discussing in the chat room and then post it on X or TikTok or something, and then maybe make your own comment afterwards or something, or make memes out of me or something. Whatever. But I was thinking I just give you 30 days, so whatever you guys want. But what I'm figuring is that anybody that wants to become a member like that I would like do a private stream once a month or once a week, whatever the chat decides. You know what I mean? If I've got 100 people in that sign up for membership, then I'm going to give them what they want. All right, so. I don't have any set expectations, and I'm not trying to get filthy rich. Okay. My only expectation is to have fun and be entertained and to meet people for a couple hours a day, 5 days a week. I thought about doing morning chat, afternoon chat, evening chat. I couldn't decide, so I settled on afternoon, because I figured it's less likely to interfere with my football. Yeah, I really don't have any opinion on that kind of stuff. Whatever the chat determines they need the show to do, Ghost Mostly Media will probably do it, because I don't care. It's summertime right now, so I know it's nice outside. I thought about going outside and broadcasting, but I think that it's easier to read the chat if you've got a still background. If the background's moving or changing or something like that, it could affect the ability to read the live chat. I don't know. I should probably put some more color in this. I was thinking maybe, like a stained glass, something up here where it's all gray. I don't know. I'm also looking at the lighting. I got one side of my face is bright and the other side is dark. Whatever. You know what I mean? You can see that I'm a real person. I'm not AI, right? So I think we're golden. I'm looking forward to being able to meet people, but we'll see how it goes. I'm figuring it could take quite a while to get established. You know, I figure YouTube needs a couple of weeks, and then I need a couple of weeks, and but eventually we're gonna get it to where we want it to be. You know, when I made a 3-year commitment to myself to do this, there's no rush. I got time. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper. I, I my Dr. Pepper is probably an addiction. Years ago, I was drinking 6 cans a day. I'm down to 2, so I'm winding my way down. Yeah, probably take me another 6 years, but I'll get off of it eventually. I just like it. It tastes good. You know, it's like coffee in the morning. I got to drink coffee in the morning in order to wake up. I've trained my body. Well, I've trained my body to like the Dr. Pepper, and here we are. I smoke a lot of cigarettes. Well, I use the cigarettes to cut down on my pot smoking. And then I use the pot smoking to cut down on my cigarettes. At least those are the lies I tell myself. Oh, I got rid of all my other bad habits. Uh, I like to smoking too much. I don't care. You know, I know it's not social anymore. You know, oh well. I'm not recommending it for others. It's just what I do myself. I smoke a couple of packs a day. You know, I don't know how much pot I smoke. I don't pay any attention. I know that it's legal. I'm in Michigan. But recreational pot is legal here. I don't recommend pot. I don't recommend anyone break the law or do anything illegal ever. Uh, and I got to include the disclaimers. I'm not trying to corrupt people. Uh, not trying to become a big time influencer either. You know, I'm trying to become a ghost. Okay, I don't want anyone to really notice me. I'm just here. I thought about doing voiceovers back in the day because I do have a rather unique voice, but never did anything with it. As far as the casinos went, and I was out there 33 years. I did. I dealt all the table games, and then I went for the whole corporate career advancement gambit, and I worked my way up to casino shift manager. A lot of responsibility. Uh, Basically, it wasn't worth the money. I think most jobs aren't worth the money anymore. Very rare that I see people getting compensated what they deserve. I guess I'm a pro union type of guy. I don't belong to any unions, but I guess I consider myself a pro union guy. I don't like the way most employers treat their employee. If I had my life to do over again, I would probably go to school, get a business degree, and start my own business. Um, well, with the Ghost Mostly Media, that's basically, well, without the degree, but you know, I've created my own business here. So it'll be interesting to see what all I do with it. I'll do what people on here recommend, or try to. But I'm not interested in, you know, becoming a household name or any of that crap. I don't have those aspirations. The main thing I want to do is just meet people, talk to people, have a good time, get a few laughs. It'll add to my day. Generally, what I've been doing, weather permitting, is after the live stream is over, I go for a nice walk, get outside for a bit, get some fresh air, and then come home and wrangle dinner. You know, tonight I'm having ham steak. Yeah, yeah, I like my pork fried with butter. I know. I got a little bit of high cholesterol, but it's not too bad. I'm still alive, so it is what it is. I'm interested in meeting people from all over the world in here, though. I think it'll be fun. I think it should be real interesting as far as getting different perspectives in the chat. Uh, Take a look at a problem and get problem solvers from all over the world and see what we can come up with for our best solution for this problem. That kind of stuff interests me a lot. What I don't have interest in is shaving. I don't. Yeah, I like having a beard. It's my favorite toy right now. I'm playing with it all the dang time. I was thinking, though, I did see Jason Kelsey had dyed his beard and his mustache, and I was thinking maybe I should dye mine or lessen the gray somewhat, but seems like a lot of work for nothing. I really don't mind it that it's gray. You know, oh well, it doesn't matter. My hair's not gray. Yeah. If I get a bunch of sun, my hair actually starts to turn blonde. I don't think I'll get that much sun now. Hell, summer's over. Uh, that's one of the things. Excuse me for swearing. That's one of the things I am trying to work on. Is cleaning my language up a little bit. A couple of the episodes earlier in the week, I was not uh, respectful enough to the general public, I guess. So it's one of the things that I'm trying to work on. But yeah, I when I sit down at dinner, I generally put on the day's live stream and watch it so that I can critique it and see what I can change, what I can make improvements on. And right now it's like I'm looking like a black and white picture, and I'm thinking I need some color, you know. I put color in the background on the thumbnails, but I haven't on the live show. I don't know. We'll see, what people advise me to do once they get into the chat room. But yeah, I'm figuring I'll be sitting here for the next month, basically talking to myself, or I'll get one or two people in. I haven't told my friends and family per se that I'm broadcasting, because I don't want them to get into the stream and influence what YouTube's going to do. I figure if I just run the show, YouTube's algorithm will sort out what I'm doing, and then they'll know who to advertise me to, and they'll do it all on their own. So I shouldn't have to worry about it. So I'm not like filming shorts and all this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just going to give YouTube a chance. Maybe a month from now, if there's nobody in here and I'm still talking to just the computer, maybe then I'll film a couple of shorts or something. But I have no interest in editing film or editing audio. And it doesn't seem to be worth the work to me. I'm not trying to go viral. I mean, it'd be nice if we had a half a dozen people in here and we could have a conversation. But, if there's 10,000 people in here, it's going to be tough to have a conversation. The chat scroll will be flying by. You know what I mean? It'll change things. I think smaller, when it comes to chat, might be our best friend. We'll see how it goes. But I've got the basic thought process that I'll just get in here, I'll start doing what I want, and eventually it'll all come together and come out the way it's supposed to come out, right? You just got to believe. I've always been the guy that believes the glass is half full. I can be pessimistic from time to time, depending on what the subject is. But for the most part, I think I'm an optimistic, extroverted person. Pardon me, a person that should have took a nap today but didn't. Yeah, I like naps. They're good, very good. But yeah, the show will develop into what it's supposed to be once people get into it and find out what's going on. Main thing I want to tell people off the jump is I'm not trying to hustle you, and I'm not trying to become a public figure. Well, that's why I use the alias Ghost Mostly, you know. Yeah, I should probably turn on comments, something like that, but for right now, I just left it up. Well, from what I can glean, everybody that starts something that has to do with live chat, the first couple of months, people can say some pretty horrendous things to you. And I thought, well, this week I really don't know what I'm doing, so I'll leave them off. Maybe by next week I'll have them on. Who knows? I'll try to make sure that I've got everything done, like that the Patreon page has been activated, and make sure the profile's filled out and there's an email address so people can write if they want or something like that. I'll work on that crap as I go along. But I considered this week to be a rehearsal week, and I'm probably going to have that same attitude for next week as well. We're going into the holiday weekend, and people are busy. They're making plans. They're being outdoors. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what all I get done. I'm not pressuring myself. I'm not rushing to do anything. Yesterday, I pressured myself, and look what happened. I ended up with two 30-minute segments for a live stream. That sucks. I want it to be a 2-hour show. I want to give people the opportunity to, number one, voice their own opinion, and number two, for it to be heard. And I also want to post it afterwards on YouTube so that people can go back and look at a conversation. People can go back and see what I did to piss them off so bad. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep plugging one day at a time. I get my weekends off. I'm golden. It's 2 hours out of my day. It's not that big of a deal. I wasn't doing anything anyways. I mean, well, I can tell you, I don't know if you guys have access to what I like on YouTube and what I watch. I don't know, I haven't dissected all that stuff, but the person that got me into this without knowing, I should say, with a disclaimer here, was a guy named Tom Grassi. I watch him and his live chat interactions. He does Friday night Q&A, and so I watch him. Yeah, and, I find him very entertaining, and some of his skits and stuff that he does, they're funny. He does NFL fan reactions, and they crack me up. He had one yesterday. He walked into his swimming pool fully clothed. I was cracking up. He'll do anything to get a laugh. Yeah. I think it's Tom Grassi Comedy or whatever. I think he used to do stand-up, but he seems to be a nice young man. Decent set of values. I like the way he interacts with the chat, and he was like most of my motivation for getting into this. I watch other shows that have live chat. Mike Kimber calls all the Lions games. I think he's affiliated with Chat Sports or something, but yeah, I like the way he calls the games. He's emotional. He cares about our team, I feel like he's on my side. I like that. But I'm also watching, what is it, TMZ Live? Monday through Friday at like 12:30 Eastern. They're coming on TV, and they're on for a couple hours. They're live streaming from their newsroom, and there's so many people, so much chaos, and they're trying to get their news stories together. And I like it. Yeah, it's interesting to me to watch the chaos as it unfolds. I was watching that show when uh, Taylor Swift announced her engagement to Travis Kelce, and the girls that work in the TMZ office, they were screaming and crying, and they were excited. It was like a life changing event for them. Like, where were you when JFK was shot, or where were you when the Twin Towers came down? Uh, they're going to remember that day for the rest of their lives. They were emotionally involved, and I to watch that unfold on the live stream, I was very entertained. But yeah, I don't know. I don't chat on these shows. But I do activate or enable the chat, and I read it as it goes by. I don't well with Mike Kimber. I'll make a comment from time to time talking about the Lions, but um, but I have no inclination to start my own sports channel or whatever. It doesn't interest me in the least. Well, you're relying on other people when you're using them for your subject matter. It's just like this. It's hard to get people in here to talk until they find out that they can talk in here. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I'm not sure that it does, but it is what it is. But yeah, what else do I watch that's got Chad in it? Yeah, those three. That's basically it. You know, I just find it very entertaining, and some of the other shows that I have will comment on their that I watch will comment on their chat, but they don't like make the chat a focal point of the show. It's like an accessory. And I think that the chat should be the focal point, and I should be the accessory. That's why I say I'm eye candy. Well, voice candy or audio, whatever. You know what I mean? I think that you guys, as the chat, should be the stars and the guest stars. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we'll be able to pick out topics that are of interest to everybody, so that everyone would want to comment on a particular topic. I did just yesterday. I found some little plus sign thingy that says that I can start a poll. So I'm thinking, yeah, I might do that. I might, poll the audience once we have an audience. There's no point in doing a poll now. I'm the only one here. So, we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to tell myself to just be patient, be understanding. Good things will come of this eventually. I'll reap some type of reward for my efforts here, and it does not have to be monetary to make my day. Who knows? Maybe my next ex-wife will show up and harass me and stalk me. Yeah, I say that I'm divorced 3 times. Shh, don't tell nobody. I don't know if it's good or bad. I know that I try to stay happy, you know. But yeah, well, when I was in my ex-wife's defense, I can say that I was kind of a wild child when I was young. I'm a good boy now. I don't get no trouble now. compared to in my youth. I like to have a good time, but I don't have the energy to have a good time as much as I did when I was young. When I was young, I had problems with substance abuse. It was not a pretty picture. I had a drinking problem right out of youth. I'd say that started probably at 15 and went till I was 35. So 20 years of drinking. Yeah, that should be worth one divorce all by itself, right? Then I had problems with LSD and cocaine and speed, and I had issues. And now the only thing I got left are the old cigarettes. Well, and pot, but I don't consider the pot to be a detriment. And generally, I only smoke from like 4 p.m. or smoke pot from 4 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. I say 9:30. Sometimes it's 10 o'clock, you know. Oh, 10 o'clock. That's the other show that I watch that's got chat. It's called The Enforcer. Yeah, I get my war news from these two young kids out of I think they're in Alabama. Yeah, they're brothers. They glean social media and come up with video evidence of war throughout the planet. And lots of respect for these two young men. They're doing a fine job. They give you proof right there. You're seeing video evidence. They're not doctoring the videos, and they're not trying to say, "Oh, this act of war is good and this act of war is bad." They're not doing that. They're putting it out and telling you like it is, and it is what it is. If you want to know about war on the planet Earth, you watch The Enforcer. And they engage with the live chat to a certain extent. I don't chat on there. Those guys don't know me. You know what I mean? I don't engage with them daily, but I watch it about 6 nights a week. I want to know what's going on with the wars in this country and with the wars on the globe, and they fill you in. When there's video proof, I mean, I believe what I see. But, there's a couple of young guys there in their mid-20s, I believe. I think they've been doing this channel for about 3 years, and I watch them. But if you got access, you can see my favorites or something, what I subscribe to on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have access to that information or not, but that's what I watch. I actually time out, I got chores I got to do, I got to have dishes done, cigarettes rolled, this kind of stuff. I do that while they're playing. I listen and I watch some of the videos and I learn what's going on the planet. In other words, don't believe what Putin says. Watch what Putin does. You can see where the missiles land. Okay. good, bad, or ugly, what you're seeing is the truth. So that's why I watch that show. I've tried some of the others, but as far as subscribing to them, no, I don't. The only war news that I subscribe to is the Enforcer. It's like the only entertainment news I subscribe to is TMZ. The only football prognosticators that I follow are Tom Grassi, who does the Green Bay Packers, and Mike Kimber, who does the Lions. That's it. You know, I I see Brandon Perna, but I don't subscribe to him. He does a show called GPS with Tom Grassi. But if you have access, if you can see what I subscribe to on YouTube, bless you, you know. But I don't, nothing else. Doesn't interest me. I don't need to know everything on the planet. I just need to know some things. My need to know levels about yay high. And I had quite a following when I was table games dealer. I had a number of people that followed me from casino to casino, and I dealt to them a lot over the years. And I think it'd be real interesting if some of them found their way into the chat room and I got to talk to them. You know, that'd be nice to catch up with them. Some nice people. I had friends from like Hawaii that would come into town and stay at the hotel I worked at, and they would bring me little presents or food or something. Yeah, that's how I got to drinking Kona coffee back in the day. It was a little pricey, but it was good coffee. You know. Nowadays, I only drink decaf. I can't have too much caffeine. I got caffeine in my Dr. Pepper. So, you know, the older you get, the more you listen to what the doctor says. The more you pay attention, the more you retain. I'm not. Uh, I'm not interested in going to the doctor all the time. But if I get sick, I go. Yeah, I don't. I don't push. Well, my opinion on doctors is they're practicing medicine and we're the guinea pigs. I don't want to be a guinea pig. You know what I mean? But sometimes as human beings, we get ill and we might need a particular medicine to get better or whatever. So, uh, as far as changing your lifestyle and whatnot, I've tried some of that, and some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. Most recently, well, my example would be the cholesterol. I go in, the doctor draws blood. She says, "Hey, you got high cholesterol. You need to change your diet." Boom, boom, boom. I changed my diet. I did it for a year. I go in, she tests my cholesterol again, and it went down by 6 points. Well, for 6 points, I ain't changing my diet. Okay. So she gave me a pill. I don't know what it is, Lipitor or something. I'm not endorsing any drugs for anyone, believe me. But what I'm saying is, she gave me the pill to lower my cholesterol. I went back to my old diet. I eat what the hell I want. Okay. I want what I like the taste of, right? For 6 points, I'm not going to torture myself on some strange diet where I can't have processed meats. I need to cut down on it. Ew, leave me alone. I'll eat what I want when it. I'm not going to make a dietary adjustment for 6 points on my cholesterol. It doesn't make any sense. It destroys my quality of life. I spent a year not being able to have ham steak. I like ham steak. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Okay. You fry it up in some butter, make a vegetable with it, maybe a baked potato. You're living life. No, I can't. Some of this stuff that these doctors try to tell you to do, it just makes no sense to me. I'm not going to torture myself, but I don't have major health concerns, you know. If I had major health concerns, I'd probably listen more to the doctor. But once they find out I'm a smoker, they come unglued anyways. And as far as I'm concerned, they can pound sand, you know. I They sent me in for a CT scan and they said, "Oh, you should have one of these every year." And I'm like, "That's all you got to say? I've been smoking for 50 years and now you're telling me I need one a year?" Nah, no thanks. Yeah. So I'll probably die with my body riddled with cancer to pay me back for my cavalier attitude. So be it. You know. No, I can't recommend health advice to anyone. I'm only giving you my perspective, my opinion. Just one dumb guy sitting on his couch. Okay. Uh, Don't stop your medical treatments because of me. Don't start medical treatments because of me. I'm just a guy. Okay. If uh, if I had my way, I would probably marry a doctor 40 years ago. you know, Somebody so I could get free health care. I know there's always a price to be paid, right? Yeah. Well, I don't have all the answers. But I have the answers I need, you know, or I'll get the answers I need, but it's just my opinion. To me, as long as I stay active, as long as I'm going for walks and my mind's still sharp and I have some quality of life, I'm fine. Now, if I'm sick as a dog, I'll go to the doctor and I'll do as I'm told, as I expect you would too, you know. Yeah, I was thinking about putting more light on this side, no, this side, but I don't think it's going to make me any prettier. so I don't, you can see I'm a real person, right? So it is what it is. I'm trying to get used to this format, trying to get used to talking this much again, Uh, when I was a table game stealer, I was always talking. But I think that's why I want the whole chat room to take off. Is It's, I want to visit with people. I want to learn about, where they're from, what they do for a living, what their family is into. You know what I mean? Uh, I met a lot of really cool people, you know, a lot of really cool people that were doing all kinds of things. I was dealing roulette one day, and this girl tells me that she's a urologist. I'm dealing blackjack one day, and girl tells me she's a mortgage banker. I'm dealing craps one day, and woman tells me that she's a high school teacher. I miss all that input. You know what I mean? I miss all that diversity, and diversity is not a bad thing. Uh, the more information sources you have, the better your information. What you glean out of the conversations educates you, makes you a better and more rounded person, as far as I'm concerned. It's like the more you read, the smarter you get, in my opinion. You know, if you're reading a book every week, how many weeks does it take you so that you can consider yourself to be educated? You know what I mean? What's your opinion on that? Well, the point of this chat room, what's your opinion on anything? I'd like to hear it. I disagree with what our society is doing with all this hate and anger. And, oh, I can't talk to you because you have different beliefs than I do. Well, I'm not that way. I don't care what your beliefs are. Why don't you tell me what your beliefs are? I'll tell you what mine are. Maybe we have some common ground. Maybe we don't. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to dislike. I don't think it's okay to hate. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. No, false alarm. I've got a tissue in case I need it, but I didn't sneeze. But yeah, whatever people want to talk about, it's going to be good with me. I don't care if we talk about the same subjects every day or different subjects, and I don't care if our opinions align or disalign. But I'm not going to hate you. Okay. I consider hate to be the presence of fear. You don't hate someone without fearing them. And you have no reason to fear me. I'm not coming after you. I'm not stalking you. Okay. Please don't fear me. You know, um, dislike plus fear equals hate. That's my opinion. Okay. And I think hate is a waste. The only thing you get from hate is that it is uncontrollable fear. And I choose to control my fears. I think that's where you get your quality of life back, is by controlling your fears. If you're watching the news in this country, anyways, they're going to make you afraid to walk down to the corner store. They're going to make you afraid to talk to someone you don't know. What what can you build out of that? No, I don't want it. You know, I don't want to be self-centered to the point where no one else can fit in my life, where I can't learn from other people. Success comes from collaboration. Not all success, but most success comes from collaboration, interacting with others, getting others to help you, to work alongside you, right? Personal opinion. Okay. I think that collaboration is better than excluding people. I don't want to exclude people from my environment. I don't want to keep other people out. I'm an inclusive person. I want to bring people in, bring them into the fold, let them add to our collective whole. WHOLE, whole. Right?